Welcome back to the session 5 of SQL Basics to Advanced series. Today we'll be diving into the world of SQL Joins and cover everything you need to know about all types of joins like inner join, left join, right join, full join, cross join, and even self join. So by the end of this video, you will have a thorough understanding of SQL Joins. SQL joins are one of the most important concepts in SQL, without which it is not even possible to think about learning SQL. So I request you to pay attention to this particular session. Without wasting your time, let's get started with the basics first. As we already know that in databases, data is stored in the form of tables, just like in spreadsheets. So each row represents a record and each column holds a specific information. If you need to see data specific to one table, you can simply use the select commands and fetch the data wherever you want. However, in the real world, things are not that simple. Most of the times you would require the data from two or more than two tables. So this is where you need to understand the concept of joins. The purpose of joins in SQL is to access data from multiple tables based on a logical relationships between them. So these are used to fetch data from different tables and represent the result into a separate table, as a separate table. Okay, so let's now discuss about the types of joins. So for better understanding, let's assume we have two tables, employees and projects. Employees will have employee specific information like employee ID, employee name, and the department. Projects table will have project specific information like project ID, project name, and assigned employee ID. Note that the employee ID and the assigned employee ID of the employee table and assigned employee ID of the projects table are the common column between these two tables. Based on this particular column, these two tables are related. Now let's start with the inner join. So inner join combines the records from the two tables whenever there is a matching values in a field common to both the tables. So when I say field common to both the tables, that is the employee ID. So whenever there is a match, that's the record which will be displayed if you use the inner join. So the syntax of the command to use the inner join will be, let's say we just have to display employee name department from the employee table and project name from the projects table using the inner join. Syntax is select employee.name, that is the name from the employee table, comma employee.department, that is department from employee table, comma projects.project name, project name from the projects table. Okay, from employees, inner join projects. Now the join condition would be on employees.id equal to projects.assign employee ID. So wherever these two are equal, only those reports will be displayed. So in our case, Alice, Bob, and Charlie. These are the three reports. Alice with the department marketing and campaign product name campaign A. And similarly, Bob and Charlie, these three will be displayed only because the employee ID of these three records is same as the assigned employee ID found in the projects table. Now let's talk about what is left join. So left join is nothing but the regular join which returns all the records from the left table, meaning the first table, or in our case the employee table. Okay, returns all records from the left table and matched records from the right table, that is the second table, projects. So all the records from the left means whatever records are there in the employees table will be displayed, and the common records. So note that in this particular case, the syntax will be exactly the same. only instead of inner join, it will say left join. Okay, if you see the results, it will show all the 4 records which were there in the employees table. Alice, Bob, Charlie, John. In case of John, the employee ID was not there in the projects table. The value of the project name will remain null because there was no project assigned to John. Okay, next one is the right join. Exactly same as the left join. It's just that not same, but I would say exactly opposite to the left join. Returns all the values from the right table. That means the projects table. Even if there is no match in the left table. Syntax of the command remains the same, except the join. It should say right join. So the result will be all the records which are there in the projects table. That means we will have only one column from the projects, which will have all the records. Campaign A, app launch, sales boost, social media campaign. Notice that social media campaign has not been assigned to any employee, or you can say there is no matching value of the employee ID for this particular record. Therefore, the name and department column for the last record shows the null value. Now let's come back to the fill join. Fill join returns all the rows from both the join tables, whether they have a matching value or not. So the syntax will remain the same, except it says fill join projects. Now the result will show the common records, Alice, Bob and Charlie, plus it will say the leftover records, the remaining records from both the tables. So it's showing, if you notice here, it's showing John, and it is showing the social media campaign as well. Okay. Next one is a cross join. Cross join is used to combine each row of one table with each row of another table. Okay. So the syntax of cross join is select employee.name, employees.department, projects.project name from the table employees, cross join projects. Now what this particular command is doing is it is showing the combination of each employee from the employee table with all the records in the projects table. So let's first say, for example, in employee table we have a record employee. This will be combined with the projects table, each record of project table. So Alice will be Alice and campaign A, the combination 1, Alice and app launch, combination 2, Alice and sales boost, combination 3, Alice social media, combination 4, and like that. Bob, Charlie, John, each one will have 4 combinations. So this will be a big table. So when you are doing the data analysis, in some of the use cases you might require to use the cross joins. You need to be a bit careful because of this. In the databases, tables are bigger, and if you are crossing these two tables, the result would be a very big one, and that's the reason it's said that while using the cross join you need to be very sure. Okay, now last but not the least, self join. In this case we will change our example a little bit here. We'll use only the employee table with employee ID, employee name, designation and yearly salary as the columns. So what self join does? So in self join, a table is joined to itself, meaning each row of the table is joined with itself and all other rows depending on some conditions. The syntax would be select A.employee name, A.yearly salary, B.employee name, B.yearly salary. Why I'm using A and B here is we have to compare one table with itself. Okay, it's like you are comparing the 2 copies of the same table with each other, and the name of the 2 copies are A and B. So in case of self join, you will have to define these A and B or any aliases for the table. Okay, so I have assumed that there are 2 tables A and B. So based on that assumption, I have written the command select A.employee name, comma, A.yearly salary, comma, B.employee name and B.employee salary from the tables employee A and employee B. Where now this is where we are defining the condition where A.yearly salary is less than B.yearly salary. Okay, where this command is named, the result will show there are 3 people who have more salary than John, who are Cynthia, Ron and Bob. Okay, and there are 2 people who have more salary than Cynthia. Those are Ron and Bob. Okay, similarly each record in the table A will be compared with each record in the table B based on that specific condition which we have defined in the syntax. A.yearly salary less than B.yearly salary. Okay, so this is the command which you would need during the data analysis. Alright guys, that is it for today. I have not included the demo session in this video because otherwise that would have been a too big video. And the concepts of joins are very important, so I've decided to split the video in 2 parts. In the next video, I will explain the same joins with some hands-on. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you like the video, please click on like button. And if you want to watch more videos like this, then please subscribe to my channel, Programming with Kapil, to show your support.